So we have finally reached the end of Lance N Masques, and I must say the final episode is really good. But I would also have to be honest with you guys and tell you that if I'd known how this series was, I wouldn't have had it as a review series. It would have been one I watched to and from work, because even though it has some really good episodes or good parts in some episodes, there's also a lot of really painful stuff that basically makes me stop, stop, stop. So it's kind of similar to Hit Noiria AA, which is the series, or the one that I review at least, that I dislike the most this season. And relax, I will be finishing the Hit Noiria AA review this year. I just need to be careful so I don't get into a depression over it, because it's so painful. Hit Noiria AA. At least there's episodes I have seen. So yeah, it is a good series, Lance No Mascara, but still, there's so much painful stuff to go through. But before I start crying over it, shall we talk about the final episode, where we find out that Shin, he is actually one of four seraphs, and in case you don't know what a seraph is, it is a type of angel that only answers to the archangels. So it's pretty much the highest normal rank a normal angel can get. And of those four seraphs, he's the only one able to wield the Runga Naija, which is the lance that embodies the soul of the knighthood and only allows itself to be wielded by the truest of the truest knights. However, we find out over the course of this episode that even though Shin is really powerful, he wasn't strong enough to save Makio's mother, Yuma, which is, as we see in this episode, Shin's and Yuma's relationship was actually very similar to Makio and Yoichiro's, as in Yuma lived alone in a mansion and Shin, he came and lived with her. However, he wasn't strong enough, as I already said, so Yuma, she died, and therefore he wanted to ensure that the daughter, Makio, she wouldn't die in the same way that her mother was. So he wanted to ensure that Yoichiro was strong enough. However, he knew that if he was to train his son, he would break him long, long ago. So he left his son in Yuriko's care so she could train him, so he could be strong enough, so he could become the successor and wield Runga Munnaija, which we of course saw him do when he defeated Guy with it. And I must say, I'm a bit surprised in this episode, because when I saw Shin and Yuriko fight, I actually thought that what the lance did when it touched someone that wasn't worthy was that it drained the life essence of the person, even the person's existence, because it sounded like Shin, he actually held that back when he was fighting Yuriko. However, he can't hold it back forever, and I thought that Yuriko had been absorbed, because we see him killing Vajja's guards in this episode, and they just vanish like nothing. So I thought that was what the lance would do, but that made me wonder, why didn't it absorb Guy into itself when him and Yoichiro fought? Could it be because Yoichiro wasn't himself? And also, why didn't it absorb Nadia when he actually wounded her by basically making a little prick in her neck? And she would most likely also have been killed by Shin if Yoichiro hadn't told his father to stop. However, the father, he is a bit disappointed with Yoichiro, because he sees him as weak and tells him that the reason why he lost Makio was because he wasn't strong enough. He wasn't strong enough. However, we find out that Makio, she actually knew all along that Yoichiro, he was Knight Lancer, but she feigned ignorance because she was afraid that when his identity was revealed, he would vanish, and therefore she was a bit sad, because she really wanted him to stay. She wanted all of the people that she had come to know because of Yoichiro to stay, because she was lonely in that mansion. And this is actually what saves Yojiro in this episode because his lance, which is the embodiment of, shall we say, a knight, basically. The lances, they are the embodiment of the knights that fights with them. That wasn't strong enough to overcome Ranjagomonja. It was only strong enough to go toe and toe with it, or so it seems, but it started to absorb that Yojiro's lance. However, Makio believes in Yojiro and gives him strength enough to overcome Ranjumajai, and there we gets the story when he defeats his father about how Yuma actually died. Really interesting one. I just wish they would have animated that instead of just showing that empty room. Even thought it was a nice effect. And then I actually almost thought that Yojiro he would leave when at the end he was actually packing and getting ready to go overseas to study at a nice knighthood. However, we find out that the reason why is because he wanted to become strong so he can defend Makio so she doesn't die. And he was also ready to take her with him because he had promised as Knight Lancer to basically take her with him. So yeah, really good. And finally, it's confirmed. Shirohime can actually turn into a human girl. She can actually, because we see her turning into a human girl and talking to Yojiro. We also see her mother. Let me see, Shirotsubaki turning into a human. So yeah, it's confirmed they can do that. And that makes me really happy because Shirohime, she is my favorite girl. Also, Sae, she is a tsundere. It's confirmed in this episode. It's confirmed when she basically goes study at the same school as Yojiro and tells him that it's not because she wanted to be close to him or anything. And the way she says it, it's typical tsundere way. So yeah, I must say, really great one, and especially the ending when we see the painting, or the painting that, oh, not painting, the drawing that Makio had done. Oh man, it's so beautiful. When I saw that painting, I just knew that had to be the thumbnail. And with that, guys, I'll have to end this, and I'll see you later with, I think, Dance with Devils Are Out. Else, it most likely be out when I'm done eating, because I need to eat now. And with that, see you guys later. Cheers.